Let's say you are making a game where a character is made out of 7 polygons, so you may choose not to go with very complex facial animations and keep up the retro vibe. You have got 2 ways of doing this. 1. Change player's face texture separately, based on his emotions or actions, or the one we will show ourselves in a few seconds, adding a head nod to the character, based on the sound from the audio file of his voiceover. This method is similar to the one used in classic Metal Gear Solid 1 for PlayStation 1, although I suspect that they may have animated the head manually. Nevertheless, this will lead to a very similar effect. So I have already prepared a script for this purpose and we'll get through it to show you how it works. First off, we need transform for the head, which is the bone of our character that will move. Next, we will set up rotation ranges in which the head will move. In our case, the nodding movement is on x-axis, so we give the highest range there. Slight tilt on the other axis, so the animation don't feel too rigid. Head movement sensitivity is basically our move strength, and by default I will keep it on 1, but if you want to simulate more aggressive emotions like anger or extreme joy, you can set it to higher number, while to simulate calm or sadness you can use lower number. Now for the rest of the variables, average volume should be 0, we will set this when determining how much the head should move based on the audio volume. Move head boolean is straightforward, it checks when the head node coroutine is playing. CD is a cooldown value that gets modified to return head to its position. Original rotation is the rotation that the head needs to return to at the end of the speech. And the final rotation is the final calculated rotation of the particular head movement that will get applied. So we have a coroutine that needs input of our character speech audio source. At the start we will set the boolean that the speech is being played. We set the original head transform local Euler angles and choose sample data length. 128 seems alright. We create an array of floats with the same length. Now while the audio source is playing, we set the average volume to 0. We get the audio samples from the audio source on the default channel and run for loop for every single one of them to determine the average volume by combining all absolute values of audio samples and dividing them by the sample data length. Next we will apply the head movement in other function, which we will get to after this one. We wait for 0.2 seconds. After the audio source stops playing, we set the boolean back to false. As the head is not moving anymore, we will return it back to its original rotation. In our apply head movement function, we take input of audio volume that the clip is currently playing. We create our own Euler angles by creating this vector tree, where each value x, y and z are created by running our custom head rotation ranges through this function that will basically return a random number in range and multiply it by 1 or minus 1, so the head can move not only up but also down. Then our big number is multiplied by volume and head movement sensitivity, and our final rotation is head's current local Euler angles combined with our custom vector tree. We set our cooldown value to 0.2, as this should be the time the head returns to its original position. In the late update we check boolean if the coroutine is still playing, and so head should be moving. Then we determine if cooldown is more than or equals to 0, in which case we subtract the time.delta time from it. Next we will lerp head's local Euler angles from original rotation to our final rotation that we calculated, and we set the lerp position to cooldown times 0.5, which should jump to 1 at the start and slowly return back to 0 as the time runs out. This way the rotation won't look as glitchy. We use the late update because if you try to manipulate character bones while normal update is running, it will usually not synchronize well with the animator and create weird bugs, or doesn't play at all. Using the late update will time it after the animator is set for the frame and should work mostly fine. There is one more way to fix this, and it's through animation layering as shown in this video, but the way we do it seems sufficient. The final and the arguably most important function is to be able to initiate the speech animation, which will take input of audio source of our character voice and custom head movement sensitivity, which determines the emotion of currently run audio clip. We set the sensitivity, and if the head is not already moving or character is not already talking, we start the coroutine with set audio source. Now I've set up some simple trigger logic in the script that you can use for your dubbing manager or something similar to be able to trigger the function. We need audio source of character's voice and dubbing clip. Next we create a function where we set the clip to the audio source and play it. Next we run the start animation speech function, which will take the audio source and sensitivity of 1. If you are going to use this in other script, you will need to reference this class to run the function, as you see in the commented outlines. And finally we use onTriggerEnter method, as it is quite simple to use. We check if the player is triggering it, and if so, we run our player character dubbing function. In Unity, we set up a box with trigger and this script to it. We pass our character's head transform, his audio source, and some of his voice line clip. And now we can test this.
careful on your way out. Be careful on your way out.
If this video has helped you on your game development journey, you can support me for free by liking, subscribing and wishlisting our game on Steam. You can also try it out for free as the demo is out, or you can buy me a coffee. Meanwhile, I wish you a wonderful day.